In today's episode of Project Ozone 2 Kappa Mode Creative, we make the Direwolf Extreme Crafting Table and start to go ahead and craft the Neutronium Collector. With that being said, let's get into today's episode. In the last episode, we did a bunch of Galactic Craft stuff. We fought all the bosses and we made the tier 10 rocket and went to Kappa Mode 22B. And in today's episode, I kind of want to do Draconic Evolution because we're going to need it, right? So one of the hard things about Draconic Evolution is getting the Awakened Draconium, right? So we have to go to the end to go ahead and fight the End Dragon. We need this End Cake, which looks relatively simple. We just need some cakes and some golden apples, which honestly, cake is gonna be as easy? I don't think so. Do we even have any normal cows? That's a really good question because we have a bunch of fluid cows, but not a bunch of normal cows, right? Like you can see these guys over here. Actually, you know what? This is a fluid cow of biodiesel. Yeah, it looks like we only really have like fluid cows, which is not ideal because I don't think they give you milk. I think they give you the fluid that they represent, which not ideal in the slightest. So I have to figure out how I'm meant to get a normal cow. I went to check my ME system and I found out that I have a spawn cow, a spawn sheep, a spawn pig, and a spawn wolf and spawn ocelot egg inside of my system. So you know what? I'll take that as a win because that way I don't have to worry about, trying to find out how I'm going to get myself a cow. I was thinking I could get it from Botania potentially with the cocoon, if that's a thing in 1.7, which I don't know if it is. But however, we have a spawn cow egg, so that's going to make it easy for us. Plop that bad boy down like so, and then we get our 3 buckets of milk. Lovely. Okay, so we can go ahead and make our end cake, which by the way is pretty cool. Boom, there is our end cake. Let's go ahead and slap this guy down like so. And looks like we need Eyes of Ender to go ahead and fill that guy. So Eye of Enders, there we go. And we take these bad boys and we toss them in here like so. And I think, well, it doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and just eat the cake and let's just go fight the dragon. Honestly, this is probably gonna be a one-shot sweep because I've got like the best sword in the game. That was literally a one-shot. Not surprised. And these Endermen are pissed off at me, so they want to mess around. They're gonna find out. You want to mess around? I guess you'll find out, right? And it made a end thing right here. Beautiful. But now we have the dragon heart. It did give us some draconium, but we already have draconium, so it doesn't really matter. I guess I'll take the free levels. Might as well, right? As we're sitting here waiting for the dragon heart to teleport to our inventory. There we go. Let's go ahead and plop these stuff into our ME system. Come on, dragon heart. Let's go. I don't got all day. Now that we have the dragon heart, let's go ahead and slap that bad boy in here like so, and then do that. Now we are gonna need a block of draconium. There's a few things that we're gonna need to do. So we're gonna need the charged draconium. So draconium, I believe, can I make this without compressing it? How do I make draconium blocks? I have to pour it. Oh no, this is bad because, oh, I have 21 ingots. Oh, thank God. Oh God, thank God. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted the draconium. Okay, which means now I've got to break this because bad me. There we go. Pour that into a block. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Dude, smelting awakened draconium with lava takes forever. Now that we have the draconium block, what we can go ahead and do is I'm going to create this bad boy before I even do anything with this because I do not want to mess around with this. What I'm supposed to do is take this draconium and I believe put it into this charger, and then that's going to make the charged draconium. And let's go ahead and put this in a drawer because I don't want to deal with that anymore. Perfect. And I believe what we got to do is like take our draconium, place it down, throw a dragon heart on top of it and explode it. I have somehow managed to bug my game out somehow. This is like saying it's pulling in 2 million and pulling out 2 million RF a tick. I'm a bit confused why it's pulling that much power. So turns out relogging fixed the issue. Don't know why, but it is what it is. I guess so, maybe. But let's go ahead and grab a dragon heart like so, and then grab these guys, maybe some TNT, and maybe try and blow these up. Thankfully I googled this because yeah, I would have been very much in trouble here because yeah, we're missing a step here. We need a draconic core. Now, to make draconic cores, we're gonna need these blue gems, which we've already gotten, thankfully. But glowing mag alloy, which is gonna be Zephyr Arothium, and this guy, which is gonna be rich alloy, steel ingots. I believe we have all this except for the fact that we don't have rich slag, which we can get from the induction smelter with processing any ore with sand. Now, is there any other way? A clock and sand will give you gold back and a 10% chance. That's not bad. So if I take a clock, I can actually create of that. That's not bad. And we take some sand. Do I already have a alloy smelter, or am I gonna have to make one? I think I'm gonna have to make one, unfortunately. Can I make one really quickly? The induction boy. How bad is this gonna be? It's going to be not bad. I just gotta take some invar and make some gears. Now that we have the rich slag boy, I believe we take the rich slag to make this guy, and then we're gonna need to figure out how to make Zephyr Arothium. That is a big question. You know what? I have a feeling I can get that from the fluid cows somehow. I'm not seeing it. You know what? It might be under Arothium dust. Yeah, Arothium dust. That's actually relatively cheap. I just need blizz powder and make this guy. I didn't expect it to be that easy. I take this and this, of course, and we throw this in the magma crucible. Make sure it outputs to the right, make sure that you're accepting, and then you fluid transpose that bad boy for me. Is that correct now, right? For the draconic core? You know what? It might not be, because I think I need to take, no, that's correct. It just takes, wow, that's slow. And it also takes a lot of it as well, which is insane, right? How many buckets does it take to make glowing? It takes a full 8 bucket. Oh no, it takes about 4 buckets, which is actually insane to think about. Wow. There we go. Take this. And now we have the things to make the draconic cores, which means we have the things now to make the awakened draconium, which is not too bad, I don't think. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and try to make ourselves the draconic core. God, I wish I would keep my search. There we go. The draconic core. Beautiful. Now we have this. And because we're trying to do 4 awakened draconium blocks, because we can do 4 at a time, essentially, I'm going to need 16 of these cores. So I'm going to take 16 of these cores with the 4 charged draconium, the TNT, and the dragon heart. So what I've got to do is I've got to basically put down the TNT. You know, I forgot to grab flint and steel here. So we're going to throw this dragon heart on the ground. We're going to light this. That's going to explode that. And then once this explodes, right, what we're gonna go ahead and do is throw down the draconic cores and then place down the 4 draconic. Oh, I picked the hearts up. You gotta be kidding me. So you can't pick the hearts up. So what I'm probably gonna end up doing, well, how do I do this without picking the hearts up and or exploding the awakened draconium? That's a really good question. I'm not sure how I'm meant to do that, but let's go ahead and put the 4. Oh wait, it's rising up. Okay, cool. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is place this down like so, and then throw the 16 awakened draconium down, and hopefully that's gonna do its job and sprinkle the awakeness onto the charged draconium. And it did do it. Perfect. It exploded it, and now we have the awakened draconium blocks. Okay. All right. I literally just vein mined the obsidian. Dude, I broke it so fast that I also also vein mine the obsidian box as well. Hiya, this pickaxe is too dangerous. This pickaxe is like literally the god pickaxe. Like, it is insane how fast this pickaxe mines. I kind of made a mistake by making it, but whatever. Take this, throw that in there. Now we've got awakened draconium, which means we can do pretty much everything that we need in draconic evolution. So we can actually even make the energy ball, but I am not making the energy ball. I'm gonna be honest, the energy ball in this version is, it's good for power storage, but it's also extremely annoying to make. This is the version that doesn't have the auto builder, and yeah, it is extremely annoying to build. I'm happy with my capacitor bank. I will stick with that, for example. Right now that we have that, we actually probably can even upgrade our stuff, right? So if I wanted the capacitor, for example, right, these guys here, I can probably make this now. I just need to make a wyvern core, which is easy enough. Just 4 draconium cores, another star. Not terrible, I guess. So let's go ahead and toss that in there. Now we have the wyvern cores, which we should be able to go ahead and make the awakened draconium cores now as well, which I believe is relatively simple. Again, 4 wyvern cores, awakened draconium, and some nether stars. Very simple stuff here. There we go. Let's go ahead and put that back just in case. I might even be able to upgrade my magnet as well. The item dislocator. We can probably upgrade to the awakened version now. It is going to need some charged draconium, which we already have. So the awakened magnet, this is actually a really OP version of this one. It reaches 32 blocks, which is insane, by the way. I would actually really like to make the enhanced dislocator charm. This thing is really goated. I miss using it for traveling around. I did also want to make the armor, but I think we're gonna have to wait on that. But the reason why I wanted to get draconic evolution actually is so we can actually start getting into the extreme crafting stuff, right? So the dire crafting table, which is going to require a crystal matrix ingot, some double compressed crafting tables, 4 awakened draconium cores, and an ME controller. I believe we pretty much have all that stuff now, minus the crystal matrix ingot, which requires the diamond lattices, which honestly isn't terrible. Am I gonna need that for something? The diamond lattices, is that the only thing I need it for? No, we need it for other stuff. So let's go ahead and make that a creative item as well. And I think in between episodes, what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to set up my dislocator with all the planets and stuff, so that way I can have it. So the way that this thing works is, let me grab some of the ender pearls really quickly. And what you do is you take this, you open up the GUI, and let's say we want to add a new destination. Hit add new, and then we're going to name this one home, for example. We're going to lock it so that way we don't overwrite it. And what we're going to go ahead and do is add fuel to this, right? And now basically every time I want to teleport home, I can say, like, let's say for example I go to one of the planets. Let's go here, for example. I go to the moon. What I can go ahead and do is set this now to the moon. So we commit that, we lock it, but I can now use 1 fuel to go ahead and teleport home, which is, oh dude, it's so goated. I miss this so much, dude. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and make the double compressed crafting table. So the double compressed crafting table is interesting. So double compressed crafting table is this guy here. We're gonna need at least a couple stacks of crafting tables. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves some oak wood and make ourselves like a couple of stacks of crafting tables. I think that should be enough, right? And then we do this, and we make these, and then we do this, and then that makes our double compressed crafting table, which I am gonna creative, which I don't really think I need to, but I'm going to anyway. So let's go and grab that. And then what do we need for the dire wolf table is gonna require 8 of the crystal matrix ingots, So let's grab those, and then we're gonna need a ME controller, which I believe is also on this side, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's right here, the ME controller. And then we need 4 awakened draconium cores. I didn't creative. Did I throw them in here? I did creative them. I just can't find them because I'm blind. And we're gonna take this guy right on up to the laser table up here, toss these guys in here, and boom. This actually might take a while. I think this is gonna take a while because how much power does this thing even need? I didn't even check that. This thing's gonna need a crap ton of power. Let's see, 8 million RF. Dear God, and that's doing it at 10,000 RF a tick. Oh, that's gonna be a while. And just like that, we now have the dire crafting table, which I don't really know if I need to creative, to be honest, just because we're having fun. I'm gonna go ahead and creative it anyways, because why not? Creative everything. And so now that we have this opens up the end game by quite a bit, actually. So we are gonna first start by making the neutronium compressor, because neutronium compressor, actually, do we want to make this first? We probably should make this one first, huh? Actually, can we make this one first? Neutronium large plate. I can't really see what that is. We can't make it, so we need the neutron collector first. Okay, vibranium ingot, crystallized redstone. We're gonna need conductive iron blocks. That's easy. Crystal flux blocks, large signalum plutonium. Oh boy, this is a pretty big craft. I guess the first question is, if I put in items, do they stay? The main question I have, will that stay? That will stay. Okay, cool. I did need to make sure that that was gonna stay. But now that we know that that's gonna stay, let's go ahead and make the neutron collector. So I'm gonna need compressed dark iron plates. Okay, so 4 of those in the corners. So like so. We are gonna need dark iron plates, which I believe we already have. Compressed dark iron plates. Now that might be a little bit different. Actually, no, that's totally the legit thing here. And then, okay, got it. So let's go ahead and grab 2 of these, 1 2 1 2, and then I believe 2 crystal matrix on the bottom, like so. And then we're gonna need dark cloud. I'm not really sure how to get that. We're gonna have to like Google that, I guess. The hop graphite needs immersive engineering. The diamond etched computational matrix, I believe we have that. The diamond etched computational, we do not. Okay, that's interesting. That is gonna require, it looked relatively simple. So these guys, I believe they're not too bad. They do need a computer, which isn't too bad. So let's go ahead and grab that. That's going to be relatively simple. I think I need 4 of those potentially. And then once we do that, dude, some of this stuff is going to get a little bit challenging, I'm going to be honest. So 4 of these, and where do those go? Those go in the 4 corners. Got it. So the 4 corners, like so. And then hold on, we're gonna need more of these, except on the top layer we don't do it. And then I believe it goes crystal matrix ingots on either side of these, like so. And then we need plutonium, which I don't think we have. I thought I could, but I guess I can't. So plutonium we do not have, which is not ideal. So the way that we're supposed to get plutonium, I believe, is through lutecrite blocks, if I'm not mistaken. So if I look, the assembly table, extreme crafting table, no, I am not really seeing a way to make this. So we don't get it from lutecrite, because lutecrite actually does need plutonium. However, to get plutonium, we need the cyanide reprocessor with some water. So the cyanide reprocessor, is this a multi-block or is it a single block? So it looks like it is a single block. I assume it requires power. Let's just slap this right here. Yeah, and then give it some agua. And then once we do that, I think we just take some of our cyanite and we just toss it in there, which we don't have creative at the moment. Let's grab a bucket of water and put this on top of here. I assume it, accepts water on the top. They didn't really check that, but it's fine. Go ahead and plop this here. Make sure that we have that nice and creative. Not that it's a problem because we just go up there and get some, and grab some of this water really quickly and put it in here. Do I have my crescent hammer on me? I do not. So let me just make one of those quickly and teach you how to export like so. And that doesn't accept interest. Okay, no, it does accept on the top. Beautiful. And then that's going to make us our plutonium, which is great. So now that we have plutonium, we're going to need the, oh God, we are going to need those there. I need to figure out how I am going to handle getting the dark clouds from the Chera, because that does seem like a thing that we are going to need here, and quite a bit of it as well. So dark clouds from the Chera, what are you exactly? So the way that we're supposed to get dark clouds is we got to go to the end, and about Y level 200-ish, or down here I guess, is these dark clouds. We need to go ahead and mine these guys. Oh, you can't stand on them? That's interesting. We're gonna take these and we're gonna vein mine them and go ahead and get ourselves the dark clouds, and that is how we get the dark clouds from nature, which is actually relatively simple. Also, let's go ahead and make sure that we set a endpoint so that way we can go ahead and teleport here. So we're just going to name this one end, commit, and then lock that bad boy, and then we can just go home now. So for the neutron collector, we're gonna need a few things. This vibrantium ingot is quite difficult. We're gonna need these enticing crystals, which requires a villager, which I don't think we have an easy way to get a villager. Oh, you know what? We already have one. I didn't even realize that we already had one. I was gonna say, we're gonna have to go to like the last millennia or something to go ahead and get the villager that we need, but turns out we didn't even have to do that because we already had a villager. So I guess it wasn't that hard after all. Nonetheless, we're still gonna need to convince ourselves to make this. We need a soul binder, which I believe we already have. So a villager plus an emerald should give us the enticing crystals. Then we're just gonna need vibrantium, and then we're just gonna need the vibrant alloy and the solarium. So that's actually not even that terrible, I feel. I believe over here we do indeed have the soul binder. So let's go ahead and take the emerald like so, and take a villager and throw it in there. And then we might as well, while we're at it, just grab the other stuff to make the thing. So the vibrant alloy and the solarium as well is needed here inside of this guy to go ahead and make that vibranium ingot. Oh my God, I was looking at the recipe for crystallized redstone. It is 10 million RF. Oh my God, that is so much power. Oh my God, what? So we're gonna set this up right now because that's gonna take a hot minute to finish. Dear Lord. So the next probably big thing that we're gonna need to make here, honestly, I don't even know what the next big thing is that we're gonna need to make here, because oh boy. So the conductive iron block, that's easy enough. The flux crystal block might be easy. I'm not sure if I've made a flux crystal yet. I believe I haven't. So if I'm understanding this correctly, a flux crystal should realistically only be a diamond with some redstone, which honestly isn't that bad. So I guess I don't need this anymore. So we can go ahead and break this down. So magma crucible and the fluid transposer. Let's go ahead and grab some redstone blocks and then toss those in there with a diamond, and that should be relatively simple now. So that's gonna make the flux crystals like so, and then we can just take those and make a block out of them, and that's gonna be relatively simple as well. So there you go, and then that is gonna be able to make a block. So let's do that now. So flux crystal in here, make one of those. You know, I can just make a whole stack of them. I just totally forgot creative mode. Duh. I don't even have to worry about that. And then the conductive iron, I believe we already have. Oh, dude, that's so beautiful that we already have that. Boom. Stack of conductive iron blocks. That's relatively easy and simple. Let's go ahead and toss that in here. So let me grab this. I hate that the freaking search doesn't stay. It's driving me crazy. Okay, so it's going to be conductive iron on the 4 corners. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then where else is the conductive iron? Is that really it for the conductive iron? And then on the outside of that is going to be your flux crystal blocks, and our plutonium has got to be done by now, right? Oh my god, 32 of them already. Perfect. I kind of just let that go, honestly. And there we go. There's our plutonium, like so. So reprocess cyanite, and then those are going to go in the 2 corners, like so and so. Now, one of the harder things to make here is probably going to be, if I had to guess, the solar neutron activator from Mechanism. We are just missing HDEP sheets. Oh, you mother trucker. Oh, you are a mother trucker. If I'm understanding this correctly, I might be able to get away with this if I'm lucky. So for HDEP, what do I need for this? To be exact, I need oxygen, which we have, and then liquid ethylene in a PRC, which liquid ethylene requires hydrogen in a PRC with water. That should be easy, assuming I can make the pressurized reaction chamber. Nope, that's a pressurized interface. Where is the pressurized reaction chamber? Oh god, this is gonna be a mess. And make one of these. I'm just missing an enrichment chamber. Ha ha ha. He he he. What am I missing? These advanced circuits, which require an item fabricator with a blank circuit, majestic quartz. Oh, here we go. And then, so I need an item fabricator. Why didn't we go down this chain before? I honestly don't even remember why. Right, we are missing this amplification. Oh boy. Here we go. Iron casings. I don't have any of this stuff. Dark stone, which requires this. I thought we already had this stuff. I guess we don't. Okay, I'm pretty much ready to go ahead and make this. Oh god, this is slow as donkey balls. So currently I'm trying to make some silica, and once I make the silica, I should be able to take the silica plus some paper to hopefully make myself some of that beautiful good, so that way we can go ahead and start making all the other stuff for the PRC, which we're gonna need here to make the other stuff. So that's not what I wanted to put there. Oh my god, my game baited me so hard. Where did my silica go? Am I crazy? I feel like I'm crazy. I am so going crazy. The game is gaslighting the hell out of me right now. There we go. There's the silica, and then silica plus paper should indeed make the basic circuit boards. And then once we make that, why did we need that again? For the pressurized reaction chamber, right? Right, because we wanted to make the enrichment chamber, right? So if we look at the enrichment chamber, that requires these advanced circuits, which requires these magical quartz, which requires titanium and nether quartz. We are using this item fabricator quite a bit, actually. Once this finishes, please give me the silica, please. Can you behave yourself? And just like that, we now have the advanced circuit board. Dear god, thank god that we're done with that. Okay, now that that's done, perfect. And I guess back to what we were doing originally, which is the pressurized reaction chamber. And or I guess we can do the enrichment chamber, right? So the enrichment chamber is this guy here. Beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead and start creativing these mechanism machines because they are getting a little out of hand here. And then that enrichment chamber should be used to make the next machine, which is the pressurized reaction chamber. And now that we've got those 2 machines, in theory, I should be ready to put together what we need. Yeah, so I guess that's gonna go there, and you on the back side are gonna poop out the stuff, and then on the gases you're gonna input on the right, output to the left, and then on top we will get a mechanical pipe to get the water in, and then we will basically power it from the bottom. So if I do this and this, and then we are gonna need a configurator like so. So let's go ahead and tell you to, you're gonna misbehave, aren't you? Yeah, you really don't like the fact that you're not pulling from the bottom. I don't like that. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. So that means I'm probably gonna have to make another creative tank with water, which is not terrible, right? So if we grab another one of these creative tanks like so with a bucket of water, that shouldn't be terrible. So you with the water, and then you're gonna be output, and then hopefully you're gonna be on the top accept fluids like so, and then you need a way to accept biofuel. I didn't really think about that one per se. I suppose nothing is coming out of the back of this, so that should be fine. I can put like a thing of biofuel down here, and there's like logistical transporter pipe it into it. Now, have we needed biofuel before? I don't think I have needed biofuel before. We do have some, so let's go ahead and put it in here and create of it, and then let's get some logistics pipes like so, the ultimate logistical pipes, and then you're gonna pop into there. You're not gonna do anything on this side, please, and you on the back side. So let's go here, items. Backside is gonna be input, energy is gonna be bottom like always, and then that should be everything that we need, and then the HDEP should come out on the left side, and you're getting power. You're not receiving items yet for whatever reason. You are not configured. There we go. And then you're gonna need your speed and energy upgrades, of course. Ooh, wait a minute. This might, I guess we could do the front, right? To go ahead and export the substrates. Yeah, I totally forgot this is also gonna produce substrates, which is not ideal, but we'll make it work here. So let's go ahead and give you speed upgrades like so, and energy upgrades. Yeah, you're gonna produce substrates, which is not ideal. So on the front side of this block, items are gonna output. I'm gonna give you a trash can, and you're just gonna auto poop out your items into a trash can. And I think that should be fine, right? Like, we don't really need substrates at the moment, at least. So this guy's gonna go here, and you're gonna, poop that out. I don't think the substrates are using, you are needed. That's fine. We're okay. We've got creative of them, so it's fine. So we're gonna need another pressurized reaction chamber here. So pressurized reaction chamber on the right side here, you're gonna accept a gas. So input gas. I don't think this is gonna output anything, is it? So you need oxygen, which means I'm gonna have to run a pressurized tube with oxygen. So you're gonna get oxygen on the back side of you. So gas, the back side is gonna be that. Can I actually tell you what colors you are? No, you do not like the fact that I'm telling you what colors you are. Yeah, I didn't think so. So you're gonna auto eject into here. Beautiful. And then you, my friend, on the back side, you are going to auto eject gas into this like so. You're not accepting gas. Why are you not accepting gas? You really should be accepting gas right now into the back of you. Ethylene. Don't tell me it's liquid oxygen, because I'm going to be very upset if it's liquid oxygen, which I don't think it is, right? So HDPE is the liquid ethylene and oxygen. I'm literally giving you oxygen and you're not accepting it. So hello? What I might have to do, if I'm understanding this correctly, then is what I'm gonna do is put another one of those rotary condensators down, and hopefully this time, so I want you to do this, right? Other way maybe? No, I think I have to face you the other way around. So this way, and hopefully, oh my god, this is so difficult. This is why I hate mechanism. Yeah, now you're gonna output there, which means I put the rotary condensator here. Actually, no, you're gonna go facing this way, and then liquid oxygen goes in here, but you're not, now you're not outputting this. So I assume, if I'm understanding this correctly, then I'm gonna move this forward one more block. So you gotta go here now, and then since you're a liquid, you're gonna come here and you're gonna pull that out and put it into here, correct? Yes. For some reason that works. So now we have even more jank setup than we had before. And then we put this up here with the substrates like so, and we give that bad boy a creative vending upgrade, and we get the logistical pipes wherever those are. Those are somewhere in my inventory. There they are. And you're gonna put this here, and you're gonna suck that out. And oh god, I just broke it, dear lord. And then you're going to go ahead and you're gonna need power, so let's go ahead and get that going first. And then you're gonna need a few extras, so let me get this out of here. We do not have the pick block in this game, unfortunate. You're gonna need speed upgrades, and then you're gonna need some way to trash this extra oxygen. The plan is, I guess, to put an ultimate chemical tank that's gonna allow me to just dump it if I need to. So this is gonna go here, and your job is to that and export it, the extra oxygen, and literally just dump it. We don't need it. We don't need it at all. And then I guess the front of this can just, oh well, after I grab this out of here, you can just dump the rest of it into the trash can. Like, we don't need the extras or whatever, so you can just take this and then you can just dump the items into the trash can because we don't need it, right? And all I have to do if I want cheat is take this enrichment chamber. Let's go ahead and plop in the speed upgrades and energy upgrades, and then throw these in here, and boom, there is our sheet now done. All right, dude, that took way more than I ever wanted it to do, but we should now be able to say, hey, I want to make the damn solar neutron activator. Thank you. Oh my god, all of that was for the solar neutron freaking activator. Let me go ahead and put this in here now, and we got to make elven quartz or something, right? So back to the whole thing that we're trying to craft, which is the neutron collector. We are going to need the blocks of elven quartz. Elven quartz is going to be quartz thrown into a elven portal, which we don't even have activated anymore, right? Because the creeper blew it up or whatever. It is indeed over here, and to do that, all I gotta really do is just grab some blacker lotuses and my wand of the forest. Dude, I haven't done Botania in a minute, and I'm kind of excited for this. So all I gotta do is take some of these now and throw them in here like so and like so, and that should be relatively simple. All I gotta do is activate it like so, toss this in here, and that should in theory make it. There we go, elven quartz, beautiful. Now that we have the elven quartz, all we gotta do is put it in the drawer and toss it in here like so, and then make the blocks out of it, which I assume is like normal nether quartz, like so, beautiful. And then take that, and then I don't really know how we're supposed to make pillars. So are the pillars the same like sort of recipe where you do like this or this, and that is going to give me the pillar blocks? Perfect. So all I have to do now is, if we look at the neutron collector, it should just be one of those and 4 of these at the top, and we're pretty much almost done. By the way, I totally forgot to check up on this. Oh, don't tell me it finished and I never picked it up. Oh no. Oh no, I made a royal mistake. Oh, that's awful. Well, guess we're making another one. There was no way I was gonna let it despawn this time. I was literally standing right on top of it. I was like, this is not gonna despawn on me this time. So let's go ahead and grab that. We should be able to take this now and make the blocks. Oh wait, no, wait, we don't need to make blocks, right? All we gotta do is put them in here now, and then okay, so all we gotta do is put this in here like so, beautiful. And I wasn't gonna let it despawn this time because I literally stood right on top of it. So yeah, I think the next thing that we're gonna need to make is, let's find out what's left of this neutron collector here. Right, the large signalum plates, which is is just going to require signalum to be melted in the smelter up here, and then the large plate to be put onto the casting table and for us to make it. So do I have one of those large plate casts? I do not. So to make that, I just take a obsidian large plate that we already have conveniently, and then we take some gold and then we melt some gold down to pour it on top of, and then we just melt down some signalum. We need like 24, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, for 3 of them. So let's just throw that all in here and just, oh wait, we already have 4 ingots of gold in there. Perfect. I don't even have to worry about that. Nice. Take this, pour it into that. Is that not how you do this? All right, there's your gold, like so. And then that's gonna make the large plate. And then once this melts down, we should, in theory, be able to go ahead and pour that onto there. Okay, so this is gonna be, hopefully, you know what? I'm just gonna creative mode this. That sounds crazy. Oh, dude, I don't want to really have to pour out 4 of these. Is that all we need? Is that the last item? That is indeed not the last item. We're missing whatever's here, which I think is just more plutonium, right? No, it's the hop graphite. Oh, that's gonna be immersive engineering. And then what else are we missing? And then I guess we're missing 2 more dark clouds next to the pillars, so that should be relatively simple. So they're in there, and we're gonna need more of these. I might as well just pour them all out. You know, I don't think we're gonna be able to complete the thing today. I think we're gonna run out of time. I think we're about at that time to wrap up today's episode, so I don't know if we're gonna be able to make the hop graphite, because yeah, I don't think there's an easy way to do this. It's a lot of immersive engineering, which we already have the coke. So realistically, all I gotta do is make the crusher and the squeezer. Actually, do I need to make the crusher? I do, because there's no other way to crush it. You can't use a pulverizer. I guess the pulverizer is too weak to crush the coke dust. And then we're gonna need to make an industrial squeezer to make the hop graphite. And then the hop graphite, unfortunately, if I had the philosopher's stone, we could technically make that. Dark balls, thorium rods, vibranium, that's easy. Energetic alloy blocks. The spirit binder is actually not even that bad. You know, the philosopher's stone doesn't even look that bad, actually. Oh, but I need the soul crystal. The soul crystal requires me to go fight the antlion overlord, I believe. So that's another boss fight that we are gonna have to deal with, but that's actually relatively simpler than, actually, I feel like we should just wait till next episode to just work on that, because like realistically, it's not that bad to do a little bit of immersive engineering. And I mean, to be fair, we are going to need to make the philosopher's stone for other things, I believe, moving forward, right? It goes into several extreme crafting recipes, I believe, which, yeah, maybe not actually. You would think it would go into like an extreme crafting recipe. That's interesting. I guess not, maybe. That is quite the spare, I guess. And then, yep, there's 1 more of those, but unfortunately, I think that is gonna be it for today, because there's no way to, you know, do that other thing quick, which is the hop graphite down here. But we got literally like a majority of it done, which is not that crazy, honestly. Unfortunately, guys, it is time to wrap up today's episode of Project Ozone 2 Kappa Mode Creative. With that being said, if you guys did enjoy today's episode, make sure to leave a like, hit the subscribe button, become a part of the Council of Elder. As always, guys, I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna leave you till next time. Bye bye.